Easy.
Right. Hi, Paul. Thanks
Hello.
for joining me. So for those that don't know Paul is an online fat loss coach.
Yep.
That's summing up. So Paul has been coaching me for the last 12 weeks, just over 12 weeks now. I asked for some help at the back end of last year, just to keep myself accountable, really, get myself back on track after a bit of a crazy 2020 for most of us, and just kind of got to the end of it and just thought, you know what, I'm struggling to keep myself accountable while keeping everyone else accountable, and reached out to Paul. So I'm just going to hand over to Paul briefly, just to give a little bit of an introduction into who he is, what he does, who he works with, etc. And then we're just going to kind of talk a little bit about being coached by a coach and the importance of just being coached and having someone keep you accountable to your goals and keeping you on track. So Paul, if you want to just kind of give us a little bit of blurb about you.
Yeah, like you've just said then, generally, I say fat loss coach, but I think fat loss coach gives off an image of just weight loss and potential kick-ins and lots of sweating. So I generally talk a lot more about shape change than just fat loss. So we like to do things in a way that sort of prioritizes your lifting and educates you on what's important nutrition wise, and yeah, get people shape your life.
Yeah, there's so much more to it, isn't there?
There is so much more to it. Yeah, and but it's more a case of not just losing weight and seeing fat lose, but doing it in a way that it sort of, I like to think of it, it surprises you what you can create with your body, the shape that your body is capable of achieving, as well as getting strong and all of that alongside it. So yeah, that's essentially what I do.
Yeah, so it's kind of it's the teaching side of it, the education side of it, that it's not just fat loss. It isn't, that's just one small aspect of the bigger picture, isn't it, in terms of how you help someone get to a better place, which is ultimately what we're all trying to do, really. And that just looks a little bit different for everyone, with a lot of similarities kind of thrown in,
big time,
what needs to be done to get there.
I think you get a lot of people thinking that a lot of different people need a different approach, from a bodybuilder to a mum to somebody who's over 40 to somebody who's under 40, and ultimately the principles behind it all are still exactly the same. They all need to eat a bit less. They all need to eat a bit more protein. They all need to make sure they're not starving until they get to like where you're at right now. And they all probably need to get stronger.
Yeah.
But it's the way that we deliver it that helps the people that we deliver it to.
Yeah, exactly. And it's that individual approach. Yes, there are certain things that need to be done, need to be considered, but each person has their own stuff going on in the background that might mean that how we approach that is different for that person, even though the information that we give them is potentially the same. It's just applied differently for each individual. And I suppose that's kind of like why I came to you for that accountability, for what was going on in my life at the time. So if you've been following the Movement Hub, then you'll know that kind of back end of last year, back October, the kind of partnership that I had with Chris Kitson, hi Chris, came to an end, which was very sad, but there was a lot going on that got to that point. Losing the studio, trying to find a new studio during lockdowns, and it just didn't happen for whatever reason, and we made that sad decision to kind of come to the end. So during those many months, there was a lot going on, and I was looking after my own clients, trying to keep myself on track while trying to run a business that had no idea what it looked like anymore. And I got to the point where I just went, it's not happening. I'm struggling to keep myself accountable. I'm struggling to think about me in a way that I want to or deserve. So that's partly why I came to you. And we had a chat about, I just wanted to be consistent with what I was doing with my training. That was my main kind of goal, really, just to have someone go, can you do this? And then I go, okay. And then check on me that I had actually done it. And the kind of shape aspect of it has not really been something that I've ever concentrated on before. My goals have always been based around kind of functionality, and I know that's a bit of a wishy-washy word that we use sometimes, but when I first started getting into training, I was actually training to get into the fire service. That was what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a firefighter. So my training was geared around being able to do that. My body shape changed, my health and fitness changed because of that goal. And then that's eventually led me into retraining as a personal trainer many years ago. And my kind of training has been based around wanting to be strong, wanting to be able to lift, and wanting to feel capable in life and what I do and how I coach. So my body shape changed off the back of that. So this for me was a whole new kind of focus in terms of, yes, I wanted to get strong and be consistent in my lifting, but I was going to focus more on my body shape than I had ever done before. And so that's been an interesting sort of a new learning curve for myself, as it were. And I suppose when we as coaches are coached, and we are coached by someone who does something a little bit different to us, it's a really good opportunity to like learn and see things from a different perspective. And I think we miss that opportunity sometimes when we like talking to other peers within the industry. We can actually learn from each other, can't we? And we can build better versions of ourselves for our clients. You've had some experience of this, haven't you?
I have. Do you know what? I think people forget that we're people too. Not that people forget, but we like you are to your clients and I am to my clients. We are the people here that they look that way to when it comes to building habits, when it comes to creating successful routines, when it comes to seeing their shape or strength or mood or whatever it is that they want to improve, when it comes to seeing that change. But we also, as well as being this person outwardly to our clients, are a person that has a job and life stresses and family and friends around us, and we have all these other shit going on that sometimes it, even for us, can become too much to think about ourselves and to prioritize ourselves within it. So I think and there's I don't know whether there is there want so much for me, not so much a stigma of reaching out for a coach, because and it's not just me as a coach reaching out, it's people being people. At that point, like when you were saying about how you felt, my brain was thinking that's just like most people reach out at the point of just before breaking. So they've been through months or even like a couple of years of just faffing about with the training or trying to diet or eat well, and then life boots off around it. And I know most of my clients come to me in a position where they're not happy with how they look and the lifestyle is getting on top of them, and they feel like they're not present with family or with their other half, or they just don't feel like they're the full person. Not full person, that sounds a bit dickish. They don't feel like they're fulfilling their potential. And again, like you'd said, that's ultimately the position we all get to when we reach out for a coach. I would say. So it were 2 years ago. So when the week the movement hub opened, at the golf place was the week I started with my coach, I think. But again, it came out of frustration, and it came out of not being able to see my own path forward for trying this and this, and stress is being through the roof, and not knowing how to manage myself within it. So I kind of, the way I viewed it, where I know what I have to do, but rather than it being this route that I can go A, B, C, D, it were like there were 7 A's, 8 B's, 20 C's that I could pick any of them, and I were doing none of them as well. Yeah. And that for me, it was the clarity and the direction of a coach that I just wanted somebody to say, go and do this.
And that's it. Sometimes it's as simple as do that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And you do it, because they've taken away all the choices that you had and just made you focus on 1 or 2, and just to get those and nail those and focus on those. And it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to come across that at some point. You're going to come across that stress, especially when you've got other stuff going on, and then you've got to make these choices. And it's not always easy to see it in yourself as it is someone else, and it's not always easy to take your own advice as it is to give it to someone else. Handing over the reins to someone that you trust is massive, really, but it can be like really liberating, and it can get you to a point where you're like, okay, I'm fine on my own now. I know what I'm doing. It's not that I didn't know what I was doing. I just needed a path of which I just needed someone to choose which path I could take, because there are several different paths, and all paths could lead you to the same end point. There's more than one ways to skin a cat, as they say, to get there. But sometimes you just want someone to go, that's the one.
Nailed it. You get that path. You get the people that need a clear path, and then you have the other side of people that are not people, and it's not just A or B, because they are definitely interlink. You get I actually don't know what to do here. So there's the other side of it where it's so even within mine, like I struggled with the pure strength training side of things. Most of my learning and efforts had been directed to bodybuilding type, and again I call that shape change now, but ultimately what I'm applying with you is bodybuilding focused thoughts mixed in with pure strength training thoughts that I kind of picked up from my coach, and extra learning that I'd done off back of that, and trial and error throughout that. So it's we come into the actual education and knowledge side of it, that there's the direction, but there's also the, if it's done well and if we're doing a good job, giving people the know-how and the tools to then succeed while they're doing it, because most people fall off because they don't know why they're doing something, so they can't tie it into a value or an end result, and then kick shit out of it, technical term, after as well. So get through it, and then they can start to make their own, like you said, then their own decisions and their own smart choices to
it's that education side of things, isn't it? So it's not only just being told what to do, it's being shown why, kind of thing, as in, why are you doing this, what's the importance of it? Because ultimately you do want people to go off and manage it on their own, because that's a good thing. That's them understanding what they've done, acknowledging that they've learned some stuff, and then going away and being able to look after themselves on that same path. Doesn't mean that they can't come back at any point, and that we might reach out again, because life happens, and sometimes we want to be babysat for a little bit, and just
too right.
Take it on, take the stress away of having to do it yourself. So, but it doesn't mean that you're not capable, or you haven't got those thoughts or that education. It's that you do it for a while. Do you know what? Everything's going a bit crazy around me. I know something's going to slip, so I'm just going to reach out again so that it doesn't. And then you carry on. And again, you still might learn something new. You might pick up some new tips. Things change as well. Information out there changes. And we're constantly learning. And updating what we do and what we say because of that.
I think so. Even in a coaching way, like the way I deliver things. So like bits that I've only recently brought in, I suppose. Like I'd set shorter term goals with you.
Yeah.
Like when we spoke, when we first had this chat, it were like, what do you want to achieve and what are your 3 main goals? And then you spend some time thinking about that even more. And then we'd set like, they were shorter term than I'd usually set. They were 4-week goals, weren't they, in terms of lifting and body weight and other things. I didn't used to do that with people, but it's been, people come back into it. Like I've had people get to where they want to be, come back, and then they come back in and arguably maybe do a little bit better this time because I've learned from coaches and from investing in business mentors, and then they come in and it's a totally different path for them to get us, well, hopefully a better result.
Yeah, because you've absorbed more information,
get there,
ways of doing things. Even if it's not used for that person, it can be used for someone else. Because again, everyone responds differently. And it's choosing the right way for the person in front of you. How that, it's like, it's different learning styles, isn't it? You know, so I teach within the industry. Hopefully we'll be teaching more, allowed to. But part of that education to become a teacher is learning about different learning styles and how to apply that, and how, you know, it can be touchy-feely, or you like to read, or you like to watch. You know, people learn differently. And I know you've been working on like a nice back project for your clients in terms of a bit of a learning platform, or like resources platform. But it's creating those different things for the people that you're coaching, so that you can reach everybody somehow or some way, in a way that suits them.
Time that suits them as well is the biggie. It's like finding a different avenue to get the same message across multiple times. So I might say, like you get a video every week, a check-in video, and they used to be like 10 to 15 minutes long. And then when I went through coaching, whenever my coach started talking more than like 8 or 9 minutes, I realized I switched off. Like not to do with
what they're saying.
It wasn't that he wasn't engaging. It was just that there's this, and it could have all boiled down, and I'd take 1, 2, or 3 main things away from it. So I was like, right, I need mine to be 3 to 8 minutes long, short, sharp, kind of give you some really clear direction. And I used to be like, oh, it's great that your dog's having a fucking birthday party. and I'd get into it like, oh wow, as if dogs have birthday parties on a video. Whereas now I'll try to be as nice as I can be, but as concise as I can be. And then that's one avenue. There's like Facebook communities, which we can hopefully get other people interacting in, sharing recipe ideas. And then there's a nice buy-in, because it's not me that's telling someone, or it's not you that's telling someone, it's each other. And when people see another person on the same path as them, sharing a struggle, or they share something that they found, there's a little bit of a different buy-in to the learning than there is if me or you say it.
Because they're hearing it from someone else who's going through it, that isn't telling them what to do. I mean, it is nice, because I have my own Facebook group as well. I've been doing a lot of lives in there.
They're nice, aren't they? Lives.
A lot of it's around, it's not even around necessarily nutrition or training. It's mindset and support at the moment, because things are really tough at the moment for a lot of people, and people are struggling with everything that's going on, and the longer it goes on as well. So just even using your own experience and listening to your clients, and picking out on kind of common themes, and then looking at how they can be better managed or thought about. And the role that we have is so much bigger than, this is how many calories you need to eat, this is the kind of protein you need to eat, these are the ways that you can put it in together, and here's your training program.
I'd argue
there's so much more that leads to being able to do that.
There is, and I was just going to say that I'd argue that I used to think that people needed to know what calories, protein, and whatever were, like you need to hit this. But over recently, it's become probably more clear that people need to learn how to better manage their environment and their mindset and their energy levels. And I don't mean energy levels through having caffeine. I mean like looking out for planning And if you can plan your day better, then you're going to have more energy to direct towards the things that you do. And if you've got clear goals, be it training or work or even life, you put your energy towards them rather than sort of like just pottering by throughout life.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, like just having, we've talked about this before, but you know, like back end of last year, I was like, right, okay, I need to get a grip, and I need to change a lot of things. I need to kind of, it was all not coasting as such, but it just felt like it wasn't going anywhere the first part of the year because there was just so much stuff that was up in the air. So the back end of the year was like, right, okay, still not entirely sure what's going on, but I need to focus. I need better structure. And some of that structure has come from you in terms of my training and having that accountability, someone who can support me, someone who can like just, you know, give me a thumbs up or a, you know, when I've done something amazing. Because sometimes it's not everyone wants to hear that you've nailed your calories or that you've lifted, you've done a really good like lifting session. Not everyone wants to know that. So the fact that that's kind of what we're here for, isn't it? We're here to kind of big up those wins that everybody else might not actually want to know about. That's important to the person in front of you, but the other structure you put around that as well, like making sure that you're planning your downtime, that you get out if you need to get out, that you know when you're going to relax and switch everything off, and you know, have a nice bath.
Right,
bath people.
Weekly goal: have a bath, have a nice bath. Yeah,
you do shower every other day. Every day. I just don't like you off.
You're right.
Things that make us feel nicer.
Yeah, and in feeling nicer, and it's where, like you spoke then about managing ourselves throughout lockdown, and it's been that shit that has helped then free up. So it's been the have a bath, it's been the go for a walk, it's been the spend 15 minutes reading twice a week even. It's been the little bits that help you think about you that then free up more space through dropping stress or allowing you to think, to hit your calories, to plan your protein in, or to, again, going back to planning, to, okay, look, cook a little bit of food so that you don't have to think about your food tomorrow. It's done. Planning to eat a takeaway on Saturday so that you know it's planned, you can enjoy it stress-free, you can still make it fit your targets, but you then free up again more mental space to enjoy and plan and be successful everywhere else. And it's especially now, not even especially now people have become aware of it. It should be something that we do beyond this, not just now.
I've been saying a lot like that, especially now. And then I'm like, well, actually, no, always, but
just now. Good at it now. And if you can do it really well now, outside of this, you should have even more tools. You'll have friends that you can see. You'll have family that you can see more. You'll have a pub that you can go have a beer at and wind down. I know, like, but ultimately that, like, there's more. You can have sport to go to. You can go swim. You can go to gym. Now, if you can get good at this in this environment, this horrible, weird environment now, you'd be an absolute beast at it outside of it, and you should already be in the habit of making these choices that help you move forward and feel confident in it, hopefully, as long as you tell yourself you can do that.
And that's it. And kind of just check in, having someone to check in with all the time, having someone to kind of ground yourself with a little bit, and I know that you've been coming across this as well, and I have with some of my clients. It's that kind of mentality that I've had a really bad week, but actually when you look at what they've done, they should be going, yes, do you know what, I've survived this, I've survived that, I've done this. Didn't quite go as I hoped it would, but actually when you look at the wins that they've had across the week,
we're terrible. We are terrible as people, as a race even, of we are terrible at celebrating positives.
We make them look like negatives.
Right, I had a client this week, no real wins this week, I've just been consistent, and I was like,
It's a win.
What? You have been consistent, surrounded by this.
Yeah.
The scales had moved, they'd hit the calories, and this was somebody who beforehand would get to a weekend and eat everything. They'd undereat throughout a week. I couldn't get them to train because they'd been in coaching again, coaching a year or so ago, 2 years ago. Couldn't get them to train at that point, no matter what I tried with them. Now, training 3 times a week, 16 weeks, not missed a session, not missed a day's tracking, do you know? Hold up. And you're saying, your goal when you came to me was to be consistent. And now it's a negative. Like, well, no, that is very good. That's what quality.
Yeah. And again, and it's we can all get like that. We can forget actually that, you know, just what we're doing right now is a win.
Yeah.
You know, everything else we do on top of that is a bonus.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it comes from what standards you set as well. And I don't mean that in terms of people set standards low or high. I mean in terms of like, okay, are you telling yourself you should do 1 million things today? Because if you are, you're not going to get 1 million done, and you're always going to be upset at what you achieve. But if you and everything will probably get done at 50% capacity as well. But if you're right clear on, okay, today I'm going to do these 3, 4, or 5 things, and then you can tick them off as you go. You get to the end of the day and think, particularly now, it's like people, if they're not working, like I'm a bit lost. Okay, well, you still do stuff. You're in control of your day. So you're going to do your washing. You're going to wash up. You're going to take your time and have a bath. You're going to exercise and go for a walk. There's 5 productive things that you can tick off across your day. Write them down in the morning so that you don't feel lost and so that you know what's happening and when. And then when you're not doing them, watch telly.
Yeah.
And you don't feel like a slob for doing it. You've done some stuff. Yeah. I mean, if we're being blunt about it, you've got weeks worth of this, so you might as well get comfortable doing now and doing things as well.
I literally this morning spoke about this in my group, just in terms of like keeping it really simple. Like the more simple it is, the more things you're likely to tick off.
Yeah.
Then you're likely to go, oh, what an awesome day. I've ticked off all these things. I might do this now.
Yeah.
So then you do more.
Yeah.
And if you don't do more, that's fine, because you've ticked them all off. You've achieved what you've said you were going to achieve. And then you can start to build in more. I did a really, I've used this a bit with my clients because I've got it over there actually. I laugh at it when I see it. I wrote a plan out that I was like, right, this is what I'm going to do in the new year. On a Monday, I'm going to do this, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah. This is my structure. I
lost you then. It froze.
Oh, did it?
My internet back. Stable, apparently.
Am I back?
You're back. Yeah. You've got a thing over there.
And then over there, which was basically my plan for the week. This is what I was going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is what it's going to look like. And that's as far as it got. I wrote it down on a whiteboard and I didn't do any of it.
Yeah.
The next day, something happened, which meant that I didn't do it. And then I just kept looking at it and I was like, actually, do you know what? It's too much. I can't actually do that. It's not going to work because I look at it and it overwhelms me.
Yeah.
Looking at it now, I don't know why it did, but I changed what I did. And now I've been doing that consistently for the last however many weeks now. And it works. And I've got a routine and it's nice because I'm like, I can do that. This is when I'm going to do that. Tick, tick, tick. Yeah. After that, that's my time. I can do whatever I like. That's my training time. That's my walk time. Yeah. And having that structure has brought about so much more clarity for me. I feel like I've got loads more energy for the things that I need to do rather than procrastinating over everything.
Yeah.
Not wanting to do it and it lasting for hours on end and never finishing.
Yeah. I think if there were one thing that I've implemented this year that ain't just leveled up my, I suppose, life, results, business, it's been, if we call that time blocking, it has been that. It's been every night. I do it on a Sunday and I write pretty much my key things to do across my week. And then, but it's never more than like I'd said earlier, 3 to 5 each day.
Yeah.
And then on the evening before, I'll sit down and plan out the following day and I'll give my key things set times and they get done. So I don't know if I spoke with you about rocks, pebbles, sand.
Yes.
Yeah, so essentially, if you were to fill a jar up and you filled it up with sand, you'd get nothing else done. So if you fill it up with all of these little tasks, there's not the room to get your bigger tasks done because it's full of little ones. But if you put the rocks in first, you can then add pebbles around the rocks, and then you can fill it up with sand, and you've got all of these things in. So yeah, my rocks go in, and they're not even pebbles and sand, it's just sand around it. I get my main shit done, and then I have other stuff that's flexible and I can bend around it. But like you said then, I know when I'm getting my training done, I know when I'm cooking my food, I know when I'm spending time with Jem and Max, I know when check-ins get done, or I'm writing posts, and then my walks can be a bit flexible. When I eat has a little bit of wiggle room, but it's within a window. Putting washing on, washing up, those things, rather than just being tasks here, that I've got my main shit in and they just get done when they need to do. And instead, people end up having a list of 20 and washing up gets prioritized. Putting clothes away, that, and then you end up doing none of the practical stuff that, like the cooking, if it's fat loss that we're talking about, or training, or even walking. So like for me, walking's not a priority, but for a lot of my clients, planning in their walks has to be something they do because they need to. Because they need to. I'm telling them to. So it comes down to what's important for you at that point to actually make sure it gets done, so that, because again, we're walking now, it's not just because steps, it's because
for me it's massive. It's like I have to do it, and if I don't get out, I notice when I don't get out now, how my day goes, if that makes sense. And
every time
getting that fresh air, getting that time to do whatever it is I want to do while I'm out walking.
Free time in your head to think, isn't it?
And it makes coming back to the rest of your day much more doable, I think.
You come in ready to work. Like those, again, clarity, but clear start and end points to tasks. You know that you get up, you get ready, you go out for a walk, and when you come in, you start work or you do whatever. And then when you've done work, you maybe go for another walk, and then when you get in, it's get changed, train, bang, done. And it's all
it does. And I think what people need to understand is, as well, that plan can be flexible. What works one week might not work the next week.
What works today might not work tomorrow.
Exactly. And if you have got a loose structure of some kind, then you can play around with it to make it fit. And I think that can be overwhelming sometimes for some people, is that this is my plan. I can't
on to plan. What now?
Step back a little bit and
flexible,
move it around. What are your key tasks? When they need doing? What's different this week? What's important to you? Getting out for a walk. And then we had this as well. Like in my training with you. Where I think there was one week where I was just like, I just need to get out more than I need to train.
Big time. And
I think I missed the training session because I was like, I just can't be in these four walls at the moment. And that was more important. But
and good thing, I suppose,
across the time meant that one time or two times that it happened wasn't a biggie.
And it's the, like you mentioned it then, it's the asking in the moment, if it doesn't, if not, what? Like if it doesn't happen, what's the outcome? Or if it doesn't happen now, or if not now, when? So what people are usually good at is not doing that. If it can't happen now, it's not a case of it'll get done in the morning. It's a case of, oh, well,
it's not done.
Or it's that they end up getting tied up in knots, questioning whether it's gonna get done, and I forgot where I was going with that point. It was so crisp in my head. Anyway, whatever. Cut that bit out. Don't worry about cutting it out.
It's just kind of it hasn't happened, so therefore that's it. It's done and dusted. Is that where you're going? Maybe rather than going, it's okay. We just carry on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know where I will go in with this. Asking the question, right? There's the other side of it of if I can't get this done, but I can do it now, I just don't want to. Do you need to get it done still?
Yeah.
So there's that element. It's not always a case of, I don't want to do it now. Because there'll be, and well, I know there were sessions that the thought of, because if we come back to you and your training, it's getting the squat rack out, it's getting your kit set up, and we had to and fro's in terms of logistically, how does this work?
Yeah.
And in and a little bit of me being stubborn with orders at points because shape change and shape goals being a priority, but still finding a way to make it work.
Yeah.
But there'll have been sessions within that where the easy option is like, look, it's 6 o'clock, I've just finished work, and I have been back to back from 9 o'clock. I don't want to. So it's like, okay, well, can I do it tomorrow? And if you can't, then I don't want to, don't work. You probably have to get it done. So there's the element of discipline within flexibility that's got to be.
Yeah.
I think it's easy as a coach to and as a person to fall into flexibility as a crutch to not doing him, and that's not what we were getting at. It were very much that you've still been disciplined in 99% of the. You were disciplined when you chose to go for a walk. It was just what you needed in that moment.
Yeah.
I'm glad I remembered that because it's quite a big. It's a big point. Yeah. It's not an out. No. It's a how to best manage yourself, and that comes with learning it all along as you go and going through it.
Yeah, I mean, there were definitely times where I was like, I'm knackered, I don't want to do it. I did it because I knew that I would feel better, and I knew that I would be disappointed if I didn't do it, and I knew that. There was a couple of times. Well, we had a chat. I was like, "There's just no way I can do 3 sessions of getting the squat rack out."
Yeah.
And when I first did that first session, the whole setup process was so stressful.
Yeah,
it stressed me right out.
Yeah.
Like I was tripping over everything. I was dropping stuff.
Yeah.
Crushed my foot, God knows how many times on like bits.
Yeah.
Like that. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this. And then I was like, right, no, don't. Like you've done it once now. The second time round was like, right, so that needs to go there, that needs to go there, that needs to happen. And now, like, I can set it up quite quickly, but it still takes some effort to do, to put out and put away. And we had a chat, and this is what we do. This is what we do when we work with people. What can you do this? And you've written 3 programs for me, haven't you? And I just said, there's no way I can do that third program.
3 days.
I don't know how I would fit it in.
Yeah.
In my day to be able to get the squat rack out and put it away again, and we changed it.
We did,
and it worked. But ultimately, we want people to adhere to what they need to do in a way that gets them the results. And if that means changing bits every now and again, then we do it because it's a start point.
I like this is you spoke at the beginning about us as people, not just as coaches, leading ourselves to a point that might not get us where we can. So when I've pieced this together in a certain order, I'd have done the same if it were me, and if I wasn't here, you'd probably have been like, sod it. If it were just a bought program that were there and it were a bit of a hassle, that point where it could have been like, oh, this is aggro, rather than coming back to me following week and having to say, I've still got it done, it were a bit tougher, you wouldn't have had that. So would more than likely have been, I'll just move it all around. And then that might have then not had the proper impact in 12 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. So it's good to have that discussion. And that's part of what that being held accountable is, because if sometimes you can't make those decisions for yourself.
Yeah.
You're just in it.
Yeah.
You're human.
We often
nobody's going to make me do it.
Yeah.
And I suppose, part of, as people that run their own businesses, you need an element of that, though. You need an element of being able to hold yourself accountable.
Lock yourself into it.
Because you're the only person who's going to make you do the work.
Right.
So I think perhaps as business owners, we maybe draw on that in those experiences as well. that we
I
are
think
able to hold
that
ourselves accountable?
is, so I think there's a big element of us as fitness people, though, not glossing over the fact that it probably comes a bit easier to us. So I wouldn't ever say like, do you know, like well, I do it. Why can't you?
Oh, God, yeah.
Instead, I think the important thing is to highlight that what I suppose comes easier to us is that side of it, but highlighting that that's what happens. So like that we do talk ourselves in and out of things, and that we might choose an easier option, but on the whole, to reach goals, we have to get better at talking ourselves into them
Yeah.
more frequently.
Yes.
So in that moment, and it's mindfulness and discipline, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, can you be mindful of your outcome and the action and the impact that not doing it now will have on it,
Yeah.
or the impact that changing it will have on it? And
yeah,
and again, when it, like I said then about you wanting to change order of some things, and me being like, well, hang on, because one of the big goals were lower body shape changes.
Yeah.
So we prioritize your lower body work higher up in the session, so fresher, more energy to direct towards it, and better gains. I know it's not marginal, but it will have a better impact on your strength and your shape. So that's when the linking that to your goals and the importance of, look, we want to do this for this, so that it then becomes okay. I see that, and what can we do on the, because we did change some exercises round purely because your shoulder were mad pumped on it, I think.
I just literally couldn't couldn't perform it well, so it
obviously doesn't work. So we then take the less important lower body work and swapped it around. So it's that I suppose that's another nice.
Yeah, you get to have that chat. You get to kind of go, this is it, and then you make that decision. And take that element away from me. But basically, I've handed you the reins, as it were, a little bit, but that doesn't mean you can't discuss it.
Which you should still, because the buy-in won't be there.
Yeah, exactly. And
so if I keep trying to make you do something that you don't enjoy or don't work, I know now, having done this for a little while, that people are probably going to tell you they're doing it and not. Do you know, like, you could have been, I mean, to be fair, I could be saying this now, and you could have been doing chin-ups first in your doing chin-ups first in your program, because and I wouldn't know about it, but measurements.
I generally told you.
But like, again, measurements and progress shots, and me seeing that has probably shown me more that no, actually, like, particularly like leg measurements have given it some welly in these last few weeks. Like, things have clearly been working. So again, metrics as well.
Yeah, and that's it. It's all tied in together, and looking forward to revealing my before and after. My miserable face and my happy face.
That's always the case.
The usual transformation photo.
Such a good thing, though. It's such a positive. Like, I suppose, like, we're always like, oh, look at the physical change in terms of like body fat lost and shape changed. One of the best things is when you see that usually people are like hunched shoulders, like in the start shots, and then people stand so proud. And again, that's the big tie-in at the beginning. We're not just doing it to lose weight or lose body fat. We're doing it so that we feel proud of the way we look, or the way we look in specific clothes, or the effort. This is a big one that I think most people should strive to, is be proud of the effort and work that they've put in to do something that's really them focused.
It's been a long time since I've lifted how I've been lifting in the last 3 months, because we've not been able to get into gyms. I didn't have the squat rack until the latter part of last year, and obviously running own business studio, the back end of 2019, early 20 was a bit kind of crazy. So it's just been really nice to be able to focus again on lifting and getting back and getting back and going further than I was at the back end of 2019 or mid 19 or whatever. So I'm doing it at my lowest body weight in about
which is
10+ years.
big. Yeah, yeah.
Which is crazy. So we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I mean, Paul's going to be putting together my transformation, and I'm going to do a little bit of a write-up as well.
Yeah.
And we are going to continue for another couple of months, I think it is.
Next starts now, isn't it?
Just to say, because ultimately I'm enjoying the experience of being told what to do. I don't know what that says about me, but but it's given me more focus to do what I need to do for other people. Well, you tell me what to do.
I like that.
But it's refreshing. It's nice, and I'm right now. In this situation, it's what I need. So thank you for what you've done so far.
Thank you. You've killed it. I think it's always a week. Do you know when people say thank you?
Yeah.
Like clients, thank you, and I'm always like, well, thank you for bringing it though. Yeah. Do you know, like what? It's been 12 weeks. It's been 14 weeks now.
It's been 14, I think, hasn't it?
14 weeks, and I don't get as much out of you if you don't come at it ready to work. And how many? Shall I give? When's this going out? Yeah, how many pounds is it?
17.5
£17 over 14 weeks, and squat and deadlift 10 RMs that are gonna be higher than you've hit before at lower body weights. And there's a massive onus of that on you, bringing your commitment and discipline and openness to chat things through as well.
No, it's been really good experience, and I have enjoyed it, and I am enjoying it, and I will enjoy it. So do you want to just let everyone know where they can follow you, catch you, what you're doing?
I mean, literally the only place that you can probably find me now, other than my house, yes, lockdown jokes, is on Instagram, and my handle is at paul.broadbent.fflc.
Cool.
Go give me a follow, say hi, whatever.
And there's lots of chat going on in your stories, isn't there? So
stories,
go and check Paul out. Anything else you want to say?
No, just thanks for having me. It's been
no worries.
Like this.
Right.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you.
Bye.